Apple's going all in on AI. You've got the Eclipse economy, and you've got America's favorite concession stand. I'm Zunaid, that's Aaron Bree, and this is the Market Breakdown. All right, since you're so excited about Apple's calls that you have and you finally are profitable, let's kind of just go there real quick. You have Apple that plans to revamp the entire Mac line with AI-focused M4 chips. That's like the Apple's first wave of M4 Macs, which I think is coming out like later on in 2024, early 2025. What do you think? M4 AI chips on all MacBooks. You've got one right here in front of you.
Yeah, I mean, so this is actually like Apple. People keep saying, oh, Apple doesn't innovate anymore. You got your iPhones, you got your computers, but they don't do anything cool anymore. Of course, they have the Vision Pro, which I think has been kind of a disappointment. I think we got to give that a little bit of time because it was just the first iteration. But Apple's in-house chips, I think that's where you are going to see a lot of innovation from the company, while all the other, big tech companies are going to be reliant on companies like NVIDIA, AMD, etc. for these chips. Apple is going to be developing its own chips. Of course, Apple's going to be a player in AI. It's like the largest tech company in the world behind Microsoft. They've got more cash on hand than any other company to spend on this research and development. Apple's ripping higher. I've got some open calls on it.
I want everyone who's watching to type, I don't know, loser, fail, broke, whatever for AB. If when you're watching this, Apple didn't break out of 175 by end of close April 12th. But
well, I'll tell you what, even if Apple doesn't go up another $4, I might be a few $1,000s richer if my boy Ricky takes home his first major ever, which brings us to our next topic. The Masters is underway. If you're watching this on Friday, that means that it is day 2 of the Masters now, barring any crazy weather, because we did have a delay today. Ricky Fowler, of course, famously has never won a major, but he did win the par 3 contest yesterday or Wednesday. And he's had some success at Augusta before. But that's not why we're talking about Augusta and the Masters on this show. This is a financial news show. This is a financial news outlet. CPI, March, came in hotter than expected. The one place, Zunaid, you will not find inflation is at the concession stand at the Masters. And you know about this because you're down in Georgia, which, if you watch Pre-Market Prep, I gave a shout-out to your, little city or whatever you want to call it, Atlanta.
Little city? All right, bro. You know you're in Detroit, right?
Atlanta, yeah. It's like a town down in Georgia, right?
Keep going.
So Atlanta also, like where the Falcons play, they have cheap concessions there too. You can get a Coke for like a few bucks. It's not the same jack up prices that you see other places. So if Georgia does anything well, it's selling soda. And I don't know if we can pull up the Masters not leaderboard. Well, pull that up too if you want. Pull up the Masters concession menu on the B-roll. Because they got like pimento cheese sandwiches for $1.50, chicken biscuits for $3, beers for $6. Inflation isn't hitting them too hard down there, so that's where I guess we got to be buying all our food.
Inflation's hit me so hard that I eat protein bars for lunch, breakfast, and dinner.
Yo, bro,
By the way, our producer who lives all the way in Ireland just slacked me and said, is Atlanta really a small town? No, it's a big-ass city. It's one of the major cities in the United States.
It's got the biggest airport in the country.
Yeah.
By volume. They do the most volume at the Atlanta airport.
We do. Speaking of volume, though, the Eclipse, right? I know you guys got a chance to watch a good amount of it in Detroit.
Wait, I got an off-brand Uncrustable. Feehan, can we blur this brand out? I do love Uncrustables.
We need like a bloopers thing. Can you get that out of the way so I can talk? The economic impact of the Eclipse, the secondary downstream effect that happens as well, could be about $6 billion boost to the U.S. economy, according to an analysis done by the Perryman Group. And here's pretty much what happens, right? People go ahead and travel to see this. So you're thinking like short-term rentals, Airbnbs, you've got hotels, food, restaurants, everything just kind of gains economic advantage if you're on that path to totality. And that's the data that was provided by Airbnb and other short-term rentals as well. It's pretty much like Taylor Swift just had a concert simultaneously on the whole pathway of the Eclipse.
I got to push back against that. That's not, you can't say that.
You disagree?
I mean, hold on. Let me do a quick fact check before I.
I said 6 billion.
Okay, that's fair then. I thought T Swift added a lot more economic impact, like per concert. I thought hers was gonna be like, a lot more than that. Or it's about the same from a quick Google search. So okay, that's fair. So, but I mean that puts it into perspective.
Whoa! No! Can you say Zunaid was right and I was wrong?
Well, no, all right, fine.
Now hold
fine.
on. Can we get a full frame on you, please? Okay.
Zunaid was right. I'm not gonna say I was wrong because I wasn't wrong because I wanted to fact check before I made my argument. But that's just in the U.S. If you take into a whole global impact, but that shows you how big she is. That you had the literal sun getting blocked out by the moon, an event that only happens 20 years, and it added only about the same amount of economic impact as a T Swift concert, the whole series. What's interesting about this, so I'm looking at this, I'm actually surprised it's not more than this. So this is hotel booking price increases. Niagara Falls, that went up 250%. That's very significant, which that kind of makes sense because if you're going to watch the eclipse anywhere, why not do it in like a very beautiful nature place like the Niagara Falls? What are you laughing at, Zunaid?
I agree. It's a cool thought. Now. Okay.
But then you got like Cleveland, what only went up 33%. Indianapolis 23%. Dallas up only 14%. So I was surprised that these hotel rates in the path of totality didn't go up even more than they did. But again, that's just the hotel aspect of it, not to mention the people driving in, spending money at places and doing this or that. So it's cool. I mean, we had 99.5% totality up here in Detroit. It was cool to watch. I would definitely recommend doing it again in 2044 or whenever it is.
Yeah, you sound like the parent whose son got an A-, and you're pissed off that it wasn't an A+. So,
well, I'm a little spoiled because in the 2017 Eclipse, I was in one of these spots. I was in Columbia, Missouri, which was one of the best spots in the country to watch it. And we got a bunch of tourists there because it was in the 100% path of totality. And being in the 100% versus 99.5, there actually was a big difference. Because back in the 2017 one, it got completely dark for like 2 minutes. You could hear the birds just completely stop chirping. They went to sleep because they thought it was nighttime, all this stuff. And then this time around with the 99.5, you could just see a tiny little sliver of the sun. But that tiny little sliver of the sun was enough to keep it light out for a while. So if you're ever questioning the sun and like how powerful it is, just know that even 0.5% of it is enough to like still continue to light up the majority of the sky.
Is the Earth flat?
No.
Okay, just making sure. Earnings next week. We've got Netflix. Forbes estimates that Netflix revenue will be in about $9.3 billion for the quarter, which is just a little bit more than the $9.27 billion that the estimates have. And you also have guidance of approximately $9.24. So it's right in that range. The year-over-year growth would be about 14%. Stock is up 28% year-to-date. Netflix, stock up, stock down the day after the report. What do you think happens?
All right, here's the thing. You got Netflix. What is Netflix doing right now that's a growth driver that I do like long-term, Zunaid? You're kind of in this space as well, so you should know what I'm talking about.
Are you talking about India? Are you dead-ass talking about the growth of subscribers in India?
I'm not talking about India. Okay. I know you're not in that space. You're in Atlanta. No, Netflix is venturing into the live sports space. I know you're in like live esports, which is different, which Netflix will probably be doing some sort of esports thing over time. And I think this could be a very big driver for Netflix in the long run. Of course, its biggest thing right now, they're doing the Jake Paul, Mike Tyson fight. I don't think this is going to be a significant revenue driver, that fight itself, for Netflix, but I think over time, as they get more things like this, that you'll see people that aren't subscribers to Netflix start subscribing for those live sports things. And I do like Netflix long term. I mean, the stock's been on an incredible run the past like year and a half. I mean, if you look at any stock, right, a bunch of tech stocks got beaten up in 2022 and to 2021. Netflix went down more than 70%. You could have bought Netflix below $200 a share. It is up more than 240% since its lows. It's basically Netflix and Meta have very similar charts where they both drew down like 70, 80% and have just come straight like V-shaped return back up. So a little part of me is like worried that, okay, it's gone up so much now the past couple of years. Again, I still like it long term. You are approaching the all-time highs at around 650, which could act as resistance. But yeah, I mean, like, this report will be a big make or break moment for Netflix. If it's any sort of, slowing growth, anything like that, I wouldn't be surprised to see this thing drop 20%. If it's good report, wouldn't be surprised to see it make new all-time highs. If the glove don't fit, you must acquit.
Well, now that you introduce a segment like that, O.J. Simpson, the former NFL star who was acquitted of murdering his ex-wife on a televised trial, passed away at the age of 76. He was dealing with cancer, and he was surrounded by his kids and grandkids as well. And it's unfortunate when anybody dies. But did you get a chance to watch O.J. Simpson? I don't want to say play because I don't think you're that old.
I've heard his name. I've never looked into the story or what happened or anything. Let me do some research real quick. No, I know who O.J. Simpson is. I know the story.
Would you have picked him up in your fantasy draft?
Before or after?
That's the question that we would love for you in the chat to comment on. But a lot of nonsense has been talked about. Hopefully none of us gets us canceled. But in case it does get us canceled, my name is Aaron Thomas. That is Aaron Bree. And this is the Market Breakdown.